But that's okay. That's their choice to be very sensitive. It's not like their daddy owns the company, but they act like they do. But anyways, yeah, why don't we do like a part 3 to this? Why don't we talk about some tuning?
We should.
You know,
Right,
because I talk about, frankly, like the reason I want to talk about more and more and more is I talk about sound deadening all day. I talk about my products all day, and every podcast I do, every phone call I do, every email I do, every message I get, it's all about sound deadening. Let's talk about something different. I don't know.
Yeah, let's do it.
Or if you have something different, let's talk about something.
Here, look, I'll show you. Funny enough, and all right, is this gonna show any tuning stuff? That was my literally last note. I was like, if we get to talk about tuning, let's do it.
What, you have any questions? You have any topics that you want to talk about? I don't. I just wing that off the top of my head. Let's make this part 3.
Part 3, guys. This, we're gonna. That was a good suggestion, Nick. I'm gonna split these up. So part 1 is gonna be sound deadening, then it's gonna be
subs and other
subwoofers, and now let's talk about tuning. So, actually, let's talk about something. I just got me an Earthworks M23 R mic.
You know what's funny?
Yep.
Just before my, this might be a perfect time to announce this.
Yeah.
Just before I hopped on, I said I was messaging on Facebook with Adam. While I was messaging with Adam, I was on the phone with none other than Earthworks. I am setting up to have ResoNix be a dealer for them.
Nice.
And the reason I am setting up to be a dealer for them is, I think you know this by now. I sell a lot of products that aren't mine. I sell Helix, Acuton, Micro Precision, Karma, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I have found those are the best in their specific category. I have found, Karma, perfect example, excels at relatively inexpensive offerings that perform much higher, way above their price point. Steg, the MSS3, MSS1, MSS6, incredible, especially that MSS3, incredible 3.5 or 4 inch mid-range that isn't too expensive. The rest of their offerings, relatively inexpensive, pretty damn good performing also. They have a wide variety of offerings. Then Audio Tech Fisher, goes without saying, their DSPs are by far the best in the market, and it's not even close. Especially as far as the software goes. It's just not even close. So I offer those because I want to offer, when people call us, my goal, like I said before, is I want ResoNix to turn into, the sound deadening company, into, the sound deadening company, but they are a one-stop shop for high-end car audio. And I only want to be able to put together, I don't want to offer everything. I don't need to offer everything. I just need to offer what anyone can call me with. Hey, this is my situation, and I have something. It could be, I could just have one offering in that category, but as long as I have experienced, I feel this is the best for this specific use case, that's what you're going to use, and that's it. That's all I want ResoNix to be. I don't need it to be, we have this speaker, and I don't need it to be Crutchfield. I don't need it to be Sonic Electronics. I don't need it to be any of these other online retailers. I just need, as long as every situation is covered by at least one offering, and preferably only one, maybe 2 offerings, preferably one. That's it. That's all I want. I want as few offerings as humanly possible. That's while still covering everything. So, why Earthworks? Why single measurement microphone? I think it was important, by the way, to state, that's the whole goal of ResoNix is I have tried just about everything. I have used just about everything. I have tuned just about everything. Like I said, I have over 1,000 tunes, some of them remotely, over 600 in-person tunes under my belt. I have a bunch of installs under my belt. I've used just about everything and used it more than once and used it in multiple applications. It's not like I've used something once that someone brought to me with a questionable install, and I'm like, that speaker sucks, or the speaker is great. I have actual extensive experience. I'm not sitting here trying to brag, but the point I'm trying to make is I have gathered enough information, subjectively, anecdotally, objectively, whatever you want to make it, and I know how to curate the best sounding end results, at least for what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And when my customers come to me, I can use my experience to give them the best end result possible for their dollar spent. So getting into where Earthworks comes into play. I know, yeah, I'll just say it, you know, I know you use a mic array. There's many other people out there that use mic arrays. I assembled my first mic array and started using it with, you know, dual FFT measurements in 2017. I have used Systune. I have used Smart. I've used other softwares from Europe that like aren't even in English, that I've used with buddies when I visited them. Like, I have had this mic array. I have had that mic array. I have tried this mic array. I have done this single mic measurement. I've done this USB microphone. I've used this USB microphone. I've used the Earthworks. Out of all of the methods out there that I've used extensively, the one that keeps proving itself to be the best, the most repeatable, and the most true to what I hear is single microphone measurement averages while sitting in the vehicle using Room EQ Wizard. Before, yes, cool. You can do a tune with a JL Max and the tune software in 10 minutes. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't fucking care how quickly you got it done.
Yep.
Sounds like shit.
Facts.
I don't fucking care. I'm going to say it right now. There's not a single JL Max tune that I have heard that has sounded anything other than shit. And most of the time, and I think most of them are because the people doing them are putting way too much trust in the measurements. I'm not sitting here saying that a tune can't sound good using the JL Max. I am saying the way people are going about this, or the way that they're getting trained on doing it, or the way that whatever the way that they're just going about it, the method is not working.
Yeah.
I've quite literally never heard a car that has had a JL Max tune in it that sounded anything other than shit.
Yep.
Period.
Yeah.
I have never heard any car that I've tuned using the mic arrays that sounded anywhere near what I do when I sit in that car and do single microphone. Oh, and then you're gonna have, but you're just not good at the mic arrays. You don't know how to use it correctly. I've been using them since before you were even into car audio. Like, stop it. Like I said, I assembled my first mic array in 2017, and I used it extensively, exclusively to tune my customers' cars.
Yeah.
For years. And I went back, and sometimes there were some cars where it just didn't work, where I'd have to bust out the single microphone and redo it. And it turns out, oh, there you go. That's the tune we're looking for.
Yep.
You know?
No.
Most of the time it turned out fine and great, but in the end I realized, this single microphone measurement, sitting in the vehicle, taking spatial averages around your head using correlated pink noise is the best and most consistent end result that I have ever experienced across many different tunes.
Yeah.
You know? And where Earthworks comes into play is I have had the Daytons, the mini DSPs, the other one, name it, I've had it.
Yeah.
They all break. They all have variance. One day it measures like this. The next day it measures like that. The next day it measures like this. The next temperature it measures like that. The next humidity it measures like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's all over the fucking place.
Yep.
Oh, but it comes with a calibration file. Who cares? The second you leave it in your car and it gets above 90 degrees, that thing's cooked.
Yeah, that thing's done.
Or the second you leave it in your garage for too long and the humidity gets to it, cool. Have fun.
Yep.
Have fun. Measure it from one day and measure it to the next after a year of ownership.
Oh, dude, it's completely
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
It's all over the fucking place. The only thing that you can accurately use it for is just measuring left to right. You cannot trust that thing as an entire frequency spectrum after it gets to a certain age, and that age is not long. And it doesn't matter how hard you're using it or how much I have found that they just degrade. Yeah. So after my 9th USB microphone, I just said, fuck this. I'm going to get one. You know, I've seen people in other areas talking about, like, why would you guys use those piece of shit? You know, pro audio guys. Yeah. They don't use mini DSP or Dayton or any of these cheap USB microphones. They use proper lab grade measurement microphones that have diaphragms in them that are not susceptible to shock or temperature or humidity. You know, I just got off the phone with them. They said their microphones are IP rated, you know, for waterproofing, for dust proofing, things like that, without variance.
Wow.
And guess what? I've had the same microphone now, the same Sure, it's a $500 microphone, but guess what? In that 5 years, I would have had to buy at the rate that I was going at. I would have had to buy 7 or 8 of the mini DSPs and would have costed more than this Earthworks. And guess what? The Earthworks still to this day measures exactly the same. It's always predictable. There's nothing questionable. It's fine.
Yeah.
Another cool thing about it that I notice about the cheaper microphones versus this, when I'm taking, you know, some people have thrown out, some of these mic array guys, or even just stick the microphone in the headrest guys, they say, oh, when you move the microphone, you pick up like noise, you pick up like wind noise, you pick up like shock, like vibration noise. Not the Earthworks. Not the Earthworks. You shake that thing like this.
Yeah.
It measures nothing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just a reliability thing. It's a consistency thing. And it's a value, overall value over time thing. So if you're serious, ResoNix is about one thing. If you're serious about any of the offerings that we could possibly offer, we are the place for you. If you're serious about tuning, we're going to have a tuning rig for you.
I like it.
I'm working on offering the Earthworks with another measurement kit. Whether I go with preamp 1, 2, 3, or 4, I'm not sure yet. I'm going to play with a few of them and see what I want to offer. And I'm just going to put together like little, hey, here's a, you know, the ResoNix suggested tuning kit, the Earthworks M23R with whatever preamp I decide to go with.
Yeah, I thought you were going to ask about sound card. Right now, I'm still using my Octacapture that I use for my full array, and it worked out because I have the Focusrite little Scarlett Solo that I use for this microphone, this microphone here, but it doesn't have enough voltage to actually proper set up that mic. Because the second I set it up in RU, it was like it will roll off at 8K. I'm like, what the hell is shit rolling off at 8K? I'm like, I know this mic measures flat. And the second I plugged into my Octacapture, right? And I looked it up. I chatted it. I don't fucking know. I'm no engineer of microphones, and it said like, yeah, probably the Scarlett doesn't have enough power. Plug into Octacapture, and then it read flat.
I doubt that's really it. It was probably a setup issue because I know they do a lot of stuff internally with software. But what I noticed, I used a Scarlett Focusrite with an Earthworks M23 the other day. Customer came by, not the other day, maybe like a month ago. Customer came by to see if we can create a solution to lower the noise in his Porsche GT4 RS, which if you don't know that car, it's like Porsche's ultimate racing car besides the GT3 RS. It's a mid-engine sports car, and the engine is essentially in the cabin with you. And they have an engine cover, sure, but the air ducts are right by your head because the air ducts come from the side windows, and the air ducts scream. The engine is behind you screaming. It is. When he told me on the phone, like, yeah, this thing is giving me hearing damage and I've only had it for 3 days, I was like, okay, buddy. He picked me up at my apartment. My car was at the shop at the time getting maintenance done. And he picked me up at my apartment to take me to the shop. By the time we got to my shop, 5 minutes away, my ears were ringing.
Damn.
It was loud. So we came up with a solution. I might actually come to market and market this solution. But I took before and after measurements, and my microphone setup I accidentally left at home at my apartment. Even though it's 5 minutes away, Matt Kim happened to be at my shop working, Matt works out of my shop. He had his measurement set up. He has the same Earthworks microphone, but he uses a Focusrite Scarlett. The crazy thing was the measurements were all over the place. Even though I didn't touch the volume, even though I didn't touch the gain, the level of the measurements had up to 20 decibel swings.
Wow.
And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. So he eventually came back, the owner of this car, and we measured with my interface, which is it's a cheap piece of shit little Behringer. But guess what? It has low enough distortion to where it's not going to matter in the slightest for anything that we're doing. And it still measures up to 192 kilohertz. It's still a high-res interface, but it has analog dials on it.
Hmm.
And guess what? Took measurements. Everything was consistent. It was fine.
Good.
Yeah, I think the Focusrite does some weird things digitally internally. Like maybe there's, I don't know. I don't use the Focusrite. I just know that it's a good piece of hardware, but I also know it's software based for the most part, at least. And maybe there's something going on with the software. Maybe there's compression. Maybe there's auto leveling. Maybe there's some, I don't know. I have no idea. But what I experienced when I used it was I have these measurements. They are fucking useless.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I was going, like I said, I plug into the octa capture. Perfect. No issues whatsoever.
I'm going to still look into it. I'm going to look into what maybe it is a software thing. I'm going to see if I can borrow Matt's again and play with it a little bit.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's not good if you're take one measurement and 2 seconds later you take a different measurement and like it auto levels.
Yeah.
That ain't good.
No, that ain't good. So, you know, let's talk a little bit about arrays, because I started with single mic measurement, then I went to array, then I went back to single mic measurement, then I got an array again, the max, and then I got rid of that. Like 8 months later, I was like, this thing's useless. And then I got Natan's array. And that is my favorite array. For the most part, in most vehicles, I use that and it gives me the results I want, or at least close enough. When I'm there by ear, I can fix the small things if it hasn't done it.
Yeah.
Some cars, especially if I've noticed if the mid-range is low down in the doors, then I'll hop in it and I'm like, this does not sound right at all. And I'll look at my, you know, I'll pull up the RTA. I'm like, okay, I see this and this matches, but this doesn't sound. And at that point I had the UMic 2. I'll pull it out. I always bring my UMic 2. Now I'm bringing my new M23R because it's always my backup. And I'll do my measurement and it shows it clear as day. Mid-range like 4 dB lower. And like there's dips. And I'm like, why is that? But if everything's up top, like on the dash, then the array works. My theory to arrays is, and this is bro science, 100% bro science here, but Dirac, however you say it, they do single mic measurements, but they do it in a 3D space. And they
kind of like an array.
Yeah. Yes, everything needs to be in a 3D space. The problem with the Max is nothing's in a 3D space. Everything is one plane. And I kept noticing that. I'm like, one, why is my center in front of me? That was my first problem. I was like, this does not make sense. And then the second problem is just like tonally just wasn't right. But with Natan's array, center is where it should be 98% of the time. Tonally is correct 95% of the time. And there's very little stuff I need to do. Why? Because it is in a 3D space. On top of that, whoever doesn't know, I'm going to tell you a little secret. In arrays, you don't use the center microphone. You don't use it.
It's funny you say that. I saw someone list their mic array for sale the other day.
Yeah.
And it's a 7 mic, like Getty style array, which is what Natan's is based off of, kind of like loosely
much
based
smaller.
off.
Yeah, much smaller.
But much smaller, which I don't know if that's bad. I don't know if that's okay. I don't know. But anyways, but he had all of the super cheap Dayton microphones on all the sides.
Yeah.
And then the center microphone was an ISEMcon, a $350 pro audio microphone. I was like, what the
this doesn't even make sense.
I was like, guys, you just use the center mic for timing. Like it doesn't even, you can have the worst microphone in the world for that. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
What the fuck?
And then on top of that, this is the way I do it. I don't know how other people do it. I actually want to know how you do it. So I do impulse because my mic array is already there and I can do it quickly. So I do right mid bass, left mid bass, make those one, left mid, right mid, make those one. And that's about after the crossover point from the mid range to the mid bass. I stopped looking at phase. I don't give a flaming fuck. Those frequencies are so small. You move the mic a half a tit to the right, your phase measurement's completely wild anyway when you're looking at the tweeter. So the only thing I do for tweeter mid range is I make sure that the impulse is lined up, and then I go look at the RTA response. How is it summing? And I'll take a measurement, capture it, and then I'll start moving the time left or right a little bit to see how they're summing. And then I find a point where they're summing the best and I flip polarity. If I get a dip, I'm like, this should be pretty darn close in time and in phase. Then I hop in the vehicle and then I start doing my clicks, my mono pink noise, and left and right to make sure.
So let me ask you, you mentioned you do that with tweeters, like higher frequency?
Yes.
Probably not a good idea to do that.
Okay.
Because the wavelengths, like you said, are so short.
Yeah.
And the reflections are so destructive to high frequencies that to even start using constructive and destructive interference as a determining factor in timing, you have no idea what's really going on, because it could be you don't really know. It's so diffuse. It's so diffuse because of the reflections due to high frequencies and the nature of them. I don't think that's a good way of going about it. At the end of the day, what really matters is you're going in and adjusting by ear.
Yeah, 100%. So my point and my goal is to make sure that it is as objectively correct as I can before I hop in it. And again, I'm not using a single mic, the timing mic, to do this. I'm using the 6 mic array to get a spatial average of what's happening around that tweeter and mid-range location. So I'm not using one point. I'm using all 6 of the array. And then I hop in and I change whatever I need to change anyway. Which typically, I mean, I'm not changing things by a whole millisecond. It's small tweaks, but it does make the difference.
Yeah. So what I do is kind of similar, kind of different. I guess at the end of the day, the process is just a little different, but it's the same idea. As you know, I prefer the Audio-Tech Fisher DSPs to tune with. Same. And 98%, 95, no, nowadays, probably 90% of the processors I tune are Audio-Tech Fisher. The other 10% are JL Audio. Gotcha. And then every now and then there's an ARC, every now and then there's a Zapco, every now and then, so let's say, 89% are Helix, 10% are JL, and 1% are like something else.
Yeah.
Audio-Tech Fisher has the built-in automatic time measurement feature. Yeah. At first, I didn't think it worked very well. And that was because I didn't know how to set it up and use it correctly. The key to using that is making sure your microphone is actually measuring at its full, sensitivity, and getting within the proper range of output of the speakers combined with the proper sensitivity of the microphone. And then it works perfectly. Never once, ever since I figured that out, instead of just sticking it in there and like the sensitivity is too low and it's like not really working. Ever since I figured that out, I have never once had a timing situation from the automatic time measurement setup to where it wasn't like really, really close.
Yeah.
So what I do, I get in the car, I play the correct track for it. I stick the tip of the microphone touching the tip of my nose, and I just sit there and I let it play. And the reason I let it touch my nose and get as close as possible is so that like it is as close to my face as possible and not allowing the reflection off of my face kind of interfere. You could probably stick it to your forehead. You could probably stick it to your chin. As long as like that reflection off of your face to the microphone is pushed. Think of it like, dash mid-ranges. Push that null so high in frequency to where it's like not even a thing.
Yeah.
And I just sit there. I let it run through. It takes 20 seconds at most to do that. And then from there, I will do all of my frequency response measurements and corrections. I will not touch timing or phase at all until all of my frequency response is corrected. Because as you know, this is more so information for the listeners, but as you know, phase is tied to frequency response.
100%.
They correlate. So if I adjust phase and timing before I adjust frequency response, I'm going to have to go back and do it again anyway.
Yeah.
So I time it, I correct frequency response, and then I go in by ear and I do my testing and adjustments by ear. What I have noticed is that sometimes just by nature, polarity of the subwoofer needs to be flipped and it's perfect. That might anecdotally, that might just be because polarity of the sub is wired wrong, or because the amplifier is doing something different. It could just, it doesn't need an all pass filter. It just needs polarity to be flipped sometimes. Usually the low end also needs a little bit of phase shifting with an all pass filter. But what I'm talking about, it usually just sometimes for whatever reason. And by the way, I'm not doing installs anymore, so I'm not verifying like if it's wired 100%. I don't care. At the end of the day, I'm gonna flip it or whatever. So I don't know if it's a wiring thing. I don't know if it's because you're using a Helix amp and then brand B subwoofer amplifier and like it just inverts polarity for whatever reason. I have no idea. I have no clue. But then usually that sum is almost perfect. Mid bass to mid range is perfect.
Yep.
And then mid range to tweeter is usually a little off, but usually I'm not worried about that first. What I'm usually timing first is I get mid range to mid range. I verify it's perfectly center. If it's not perfectly center, I'm verifying left and right have the same audible to me amplitude from left to right. Does left and right sound the same with pink noise? If it sounds the same, I leave it. If it doesn't sound the same, I make the necessary adjustment. Is it levels as a whole? Is it a frequency that's sticking out? Whatever it might be, I make them by ear sound as identical as possible from left to right while sitting in the driver's seat. So I center those up with, left to right, pink noise, or, audible spectral balance first. Mm-hmm. And then I'll do the same thing with the mid bass drivers. And then I'll do the same thing with the tweeters. And once I do that, then that is when I go through the crossovers, sub to mid bass to mid range, tweeter to mid range. And, sometimes tweeter needs to be adjusted to center and to also get it to align to the crossovers. But that's because, like you said, the wavelengths are so short that moving it a half of an inch throws it off completely. My microphone is in a different spot than my ears, and I'm not concerned about what the microphone is doing anyway. I'm mostly concerned about getting it very close. And I know if I put it right here, I'm a little bit closer to them. So it's like, okay, I need to add a little bit more delay, and okay, we're centered.
And we're locked in. Yeah.
Or, okay, we're locked in through the crossover. And there you go.
Yeah.
And I use a combination of tracks for that. Pink noise, polarity pulses, certain speaking tracks, things like that.
Yeah. And all of these are on your website. So if anyone's wondering like what he's talking about, and I actually downloaded them because I used to have my own, and then I'm like, this works. I'm just going to use this. So yeah, I use yours all the time. I stole it. So yeah, just go on his website. What is it? Good. Tuning resources, something like that.
It's just a page under the resources section of the site. It's just DSP tuning tracks and guide. Yeah. And not only are the tracks there, there's also a guide on how to use them and what my tuning process is. The crazy thing, and also my house curve is there too. You can use my house curve, and I explain in it, my house curve might not be, I actually have multiple house curves. There's one for like some subjective preference and some for another type of subjective preference, depending on who it is. And I'll alternate between those two house curves depending on the situation. But I explain this house curve is only applicable for my method of tuning. And what good is a house curve in telling people that if I don't explain my method of tuning? So I tell them fully. I explain to people on my website as clear as day in, summaries of what my tuning process is, and I leave nothing out. There is nothing about my tuning process that is not on my website. There's nothing special to it. It's just doing it correctly, following it very closely, and then the most important part, frankly, having strong ears that are experienced in deciphering what the system's doing. Yeah, so one thing I think that's where I'm getting very good.
Yeah. So the one thing that I've noticed, and it's like it kind of depends, and this is where like different ears are going to be slightly different at this. But let's talk about band limited pink noise, right? For the most part, it's fairly easy to get band limited pink noise bottom and top. This is where things, I think you and I slightly differ, but I think we're trying to do the same thing. So when I'm going to band limited pink noise, I'm trying to figure out, is it a tuning issue or is it a reflection because of an install issue? And 98% of the time when I hop in a car, it is an install issue. And if I start messing with band limited pink noise and making those sound, I guess, balanced, let's say it's like a strong reflection. I move my head 3 inches forward, reflection goes away. Move it back, and there it is again. So if I kill that frequency, let's call it, 1600, right? Kill it. Now it sounds even at where my head is here. But how many customers have their head here? At least for me, not many. They're moving around, they're doing their thing.
That's why it's important for the seating position.
Exactly. So then I try to have a balance, and I'm trying to understand. I'm like, okay, what's the customer wanting, at least for waveform? Are they competing? What are the goals? And if I kill this frequency to make it perfect line up and make center even that much more focused, is it going to completely wreck tonality? And for the most part, I've noticed, yes, a lot of times it wrecks tonality. And yes, you might have a center that's let's call it a little bit tighter, but your tonality is off now.
It is if you do it incorrectly.
Yeah.
So if you like let's say okay, 1600 hertz, right?
Yeah.
If you take away a dB on the left, add a dB to the right.
True, but I'm not even talking about a dB. Like you and I have both experienced situations where it's like 8 dB because
when it's that much.
Yeah,
well, I've never experienced that much.
Well, dude, I experience it all the freaking time, and it's always just install location.
That just might be your measurement method.
Motherfucker, bro.
Like I said, mine is pretty. I very rarely need to do a lot by ear. Yeah. I always have to do some, but I very rarely need to do a lot. Yeah. Like I can pull. I mean, we can't. Can we even screen share?
I don't actually know. Be honest.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't know what I want to hit this. There's like a plus monitor button down here, but I don't know if that'll screw things up. But like I can pull up a tune right now, like any arbitrary tune that I've done in the past year, and like I'll do most of that in the virtual channels, and like they'll just look like, you know, instead of a flat line, it'll just be little squiggles.
Squiggles, yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. But you bypass and enable, it's like, there we go. Everything tightens up. Tonality, you're adjusting so little, it should be staying the same. If it's a something where you're like, oh, I'm hearing something that needs to be cut or boosted by 8 dB, 5 dB, 4 dB.
Yeah.
That's too much, and something is wrong with either the measurement method or the install. Now, like I said, I've probably I've probably done more tunes than just about anybody.
Probably.
I'm not saying I've done the most tunes in the world. I'm saying I probably, between me, Peter, maybe, I've done a lot. I've done a lot of tunes, and most of them are the ones that I'm doing the install in, or I have a hand on the install, or I know the installer. Like I help the local shop. They do a good job on install.
Yeah.
You know, I'm tuning my car. I'm tuning Matt's car with him. I'm doing the local shop's car, or I'm doing customers like that are just coming to me for tuning. And I only take on those jobs if they have a solid install.
Yeah.
So I'm tuning solid installs very regularly, and I'm very rarely seeing any issues where I need to adjust anything crazy by ear. So it's hard for me to say. I actually did put up a post about maybe 9 months ago where someone came in for tuning. He had a really solid install. His whole interior was sound deadened very properly. And what do you know? I needed to go through with 1 round of measurements, and the second round matched perfectly without, you know, when you do 1 round of measurements with a single mic and then you do a second one and it kind of matches, but you have to make some changes. It's usually from resonance.
Yep, 100%.
That's almost always from resonance in the car. Whenever you tune a car where there's solid sound deadening everywhere, nothing's resonating, like even a little bit. You know, there's a difference between audible resonance and no resonance.
Yeah.
And you will notice on a measurement.
It's a huge difference.
And it will be audible, but not in a way that you think. Like you won't be able to, oh yeah, that's resonance right there. It's just adding distortion to the sound. But, you know, tune this car. It was super solid. 1 round of measurements. And I was like, guys, I'm not trying to sound biased, but like you need to do a better job sound deadening your cars. You guys are spending thousands of dollars on processors, amplifiers, speakers, custom fabrication, but you won't spend the little bit of relatively time and money to make sure your environment is solid and not resonating. You're out of your fucking minds. That is the most distortion. Resonance of the interior is the most distortion adding component to a sound system, period. And there's actually Nergis did a video on that.
Oh, really?
You know, God bless him.
Yeah.
Great. Some of his content's good. Some of it is a little like, he has the theory, but maybe not so much like the experience to back it. And like some things just definitely don't translate. But he did a video where he measured distortion of a speaker in a door before and after sound deadening, and it reduced distortion by like so much more. Like let's just, I don't remember what it was offhand within the passband that we're targeting, but like let's say it was little 5 dB, right?
Yeah.
5 dB of reduction in distortion is the difference between a $50 speaker and an $800 speaker.
Yeah. With your sound deadening. Well, dude, funny enough, the one thing I tell everybody, because like people ask me, they're like, Miguel, like, how do I know I did a good enough job? And I always give this example. I'm like, go to a local home audio shop. Most people have them around them. Go find some Kefs, go find some Revels, anything. I don't give a damn. Something higher end. Knock on that cabinet. You see how dead that is? That's the way you want to make your car. Is it impossible to make it that dead? Yes. But just do as much as you can. Yeah. And that is the difference, because most high-end drivers, they don't use expensive speakers. You know?
No, they don't need to.
They don't have to. The cabinet is, whenever your car is, you haven't removed the car from the speaker, your car is acting as essentially a passive radiator. It's doing its own fucking thing. So when your speaker stopped because the amplifier said no more, your car is still doing something. And we pick up on that. That's also time smear. Yeah. And in group delay. So if you ever want to take an understanding, just take a quick sweep on Rue, you know, smooth it out to like 1/12, then look at your group delay. Look, even though your RTA will be flat, look how many spikes you have in your group delay. That's time smear. Bet you money that's resonance. And if you fix that without even touching any EQ or anything, your system will get so much better. People constantly ask me, Miguel, how did your Mazda get so loud? How did they do this? Like, I remember people telling me, like, oh, dude, I'm telling you, like, you must have like a hidden 15 up front. I'm like, dude, I promise you, I do not. My car was so fucking deadened. It wasn't joke. You heard my car.
And guess what? Here's the thing. You probably spent less money on the deadening than you did on most of the other equipment.
100%. That's not even a question. And again, that was done. And after finals, I pulled my rear quarter panels out, did mega CLD there because that was my one lacking part. But now the Tesla's going to be, that's all ResoNix. That's all. Like, I did not play around with that car. And like, my goal is to not have the car fuck up the sound. Why am I going to put, I don't even give a damn. Go put some Dayton speakers in there. Why put anything in there better than factory if it's just gonna ruin the sound? It's just no
so
point.
Like, just going back to it, like I said, you know, a 5 dB reduction, like people that know objective measurements of speakers will go, oh wow, like that speaker went from 40 dB, like, and this other one is minus 45 dB from the fundamental to the total harmonic distortion. That's a really big upgrade.
Yeah.
But I've seen some of those same people argue, sound deadener doesn't need to cost more than what, like, in their head they think of like the stand, but like we said before, like these cheap Amazon ones, or like like whatever's been here for 20 years that is paper thin, like that's their standard. And they've been like brainwashed to think, yeah, this is the standard, this has worked forever and this is fine. Yeah. For some reason, people are so close-minded to the idea that sound treatment can progress. And not only that it can progress enough to where it is a cheaper upgrade by a wide margin over any other equipment upgrade when it comes to reducing distortion of your sound system.
I'm going to take it one step farther. Let's simplify it. To make your system sound better. It's not about just in general. Your system will sound better if your car's deadened. Point blank. And at the end of the day, you can.
Well, I think everyone knows you got to sound dead in your car, but there's plenty of people like, why do I need ResoNix when I can just get fucking Amazon stuff? You know, it's like, well, if we look at the testing that Chris did, so our new website is going to have much more data in an easily digestible way, and you can actually see. I added tables for the 100 millisecond decay times. Mm-hmm. That's where things start. You mentioned group delay. Yeah. That's where things start getting crazy from ResoNix versus other products. Yeah. It literally, after 100 milliseconds, it literally looks like some other products do nothing in comparison to Mega. Wow. But, you know, if it's like, oh, cool, like, you know, ResoNix Mega CLD reduced distortion on the test panel of Chris's rig by 19.75 decibels. The only reason I know that offhand is because I spent all last night typing 19.75 100 fucking times. And another product that is, let's say, you know, I'll just say it, another very respectable product in the market second skin Amplifier Pro reduced distortion by, let me see the exact amount. Give me 1 second. Second skin Amplifier Pro reduced it by 11.5 decibels on that specific test panel, right?
Yeah.
Now the difference between, you know what, let me pull up my Word document that I was typing this in. Documents, give me uno momento. So where the hell is it? Here it is. So, all right, it's right here. So, that from 19.75 dB to the 11 and change decibels that the second skin Amplifier Pro reduced it by, that is a 6.7 times performance multiplier over sound energy, aka distortion. That is, you know, so much more. That's 8.25 decibels. The difference in an 8 dB difference in distortion from one speaker to the next, like I said, is the difference between something that's less than $100 and something that's over $1,000.
Yeah.
Like, how are we even arguing that $600 to treat your doors is too much?
Dude,
you guys, and that's just that's just the treatment of CLD. That $600 refers to, or $700 refers to my stage 3 kit, which has CLD, fiber mat, the speaker strips, foam, Guardian, has all of it.
Yeah.
And like, we're talking a reduction most likely of distortion. I'm going to do this in my girlfriend's car. Yeah. She has a Toyota Corolla, I think it is. Okay. And I'm going to do a full series of videos using her car as soon as my life like calms down with the website and everything like that. And the warehouse is all set up. And I'm going to do like before and after measurements for this using a good speaker inner door. And I'm willing to bet the reduction in distortion is 15 dB. Willing to bet.
I don't doubt it. That, you know, and then it's funny you mentioned price. People be spending hundreds of dollars on RCA cables.
Oh, they're
speaker cables, thousands on amps. Do amps make a difference? Yes. Yeah. And actually, if you want to, real quick, I'll talk about it. I've noticed
sometimes the difference isn't small either.
No. So I've noticed, me personally, most amps between like the let's call it $800 mark and like $2,000 to $3,000, they all sound some level meh. It's not until you start getting to like the true the Ultra N, the MPs, Brax MX4 Pros, Brax RX2s. This is not even a question of like, oh, does it sound better? No. The 10 seconds in. No, it is just like, it is a true night and day difference.
But it doesn't really happen until you start getting into people that are like, we're designing home audio level of product here, but putting it in a car. Like we're just putting a 12-volt power supply instead of 112 volt. But they are ultra expensive, and
they are.
It is what it is. A lot of people, the performance. It doesn't mean it's like a good performer if it's expensive. That's true.
Yeah, true.
But I have learned, and I used to be one of those people, and I still kind of am. I still am. It doesn't mean that it's good if it's expensive. True. But what I have noticed is having something that's cheap that truly performs in all aspects doesn't really exist most aspects of car audio. Speakers, amps, processors, sound deadener, whatever. There's always downfalls somewhere. There's always compromises.
There's always limitations. But like I tell most people, if you're going from like let me think, Helix P6 Ultimate, and you're like, oh, I'm going to do a Moscone AB because we saw just stick with what you have, right? Personally, me,
it is a power upgrade.
It is a power upgrade. Sure,
if you do it right.
But I tell people constantly, 25 watt difference, you're not going to hear that. 50 watt difference, you're probably not going to hear that.
Yeah, you start doubling your power, sure. Like, and that's where like going from like a V8 Ultimate or a P6 up to like Moscone Pros, Bridge, like that's where that kind of comes into play. You get a lower noise floor,
better transients.
You get a better power supply, but like, you don't really. I keep people within the Helix V8 and the Helix P6 for
they're good.
95% of my recommendations.
They're really good, and they're all built in one, especially with the P6 Ultimate, essentially an Ultra S with an amplifier attached to it on top of that. And Does it get hot?
Yes. It's only $2,000.
Yeah, every Helix product gets hot. Don't worry about it, guys. It's not going to shut down on you. Trust me. You'll be fine.
The Brax gets so hot.
It gets so fucking hot.
Never shuts down.
No, it doesn't. It'll just keep trucking along. But like, I don't know. I just don't see a point for most people to do anything more than like a P6 Ultimate, because most people aren't willing. So
V8 Ultimate now is going to be the real.
The new,
that thing is a game changer. I remember when I visited the Audio Tech Fisher factory last summer, and I had the samples of it in my hand. Like I had the PCB that they were assembling like by hand right there.
Yeah.
And they were telling me the specs for it. And I was like, and like what the upgrades really were. I was like, no fucking way.
Dude, those
and they're like, no, we're doing it. We got it pulled off. Don't you worry. And to see the increase in power, the increase in high level inputs, the increase in processed outputs, the amount of power at 2 ohms in the last 4 channels. It's like, why 99% of people would use anything other than a V8 Ultimate at this point is like, unless you just need more amplified outputs, they're probably they might be coming out. I don't know if this is true or not. I'm just speculating. Maybe they come out with a V12 Ultimate.
Yeah.
Maybe they come out with a V18 Ultimate. But outside of like this V series Ultimate, I'm starting to find it hard to believe that you're going to need anything else or want anything else unless you're searching for something that's truly remarkable in performance.
I want to talk about that. So when I got my Mazda, and keep in mind, so many things changed the second time around. So apples to apples is very hard. But when I got it, and at that point, that's when I went from the Ultra to the Brax, and I had the ESS stacks inside of it. I was like, not much of a difference, right?
Difference.
I didn't.
From Ultra to Brax?
From Ultra to a Brax, I personally did not notice a true night and day difference, like the forums we're talking about, right? Fast forward to 2-3 months ago, we're doing this amp test and speaker test. And we hook up a Moscone Aerospace 8-12, the black one, the new one, right? And we're like, okay. And then we hook up the Brax. Fucking A, dude. The night and day difference was, and I'll tell people, I hate even using these words. I hate when
I hate it. Subjective.
I feel like I'm going to be like one of these fucking SQ guru motherfuckers, but it's like
granola guys.
Yeah, but it's like, yes, imaging, space, tonality, realism, all of it just came to life. And then it hit me. I was like, if you just have a Brax DSP, but the rest of your line is meh, you're not going to notice that benefit.
Or your install is
your install, right? But let's just talk about
most importantly, your install.
Yeah, true, right? Install has to be done, deadening has to be done. Let's say all that's done, right? But if you have meh amplifiers and meh speakers, you're not going to hear the benefit. Like your whole chain has to be of that same caliber. If not, you start diluting what that said equipment was. So for most people, when they ask me like, oh, dude, I have XYZ, I'm not going to mention brands. It doesn't matter. And I'm like, cool. How's your install? And I go out there and their install is 80%. I'm like, no, don't do it. You're not going to notice the benefit. The 7, 8, 9, 10 grand it costs to get a Brax CSP, it's not going to be worth it to you. There is very few people out there that I truly think will benefit from a Brax DSP. Most people spend that money on sound deadening, better install. That's it.
And I would put an install with a proper install with a lesser processor over a slightly lesser install and the best processor.
You put Kevin Keen's RAV4 is a great example of this, right? Karma speakers, I think he has 6x9 or 6.5 in the doors. Arc Audio A12. That's a freaking good sounding RAV4, right? Cheap stuff in it, non-expensive. That install solid.
Yeah.
It is deadened well, and it does the things. And I hop in some cars. And he uses ResoNix. I hop in some cars, I'm not going to mention names, that have high-end speakers that you sell. And I'm like,
yeah, I know.
Not there,
I know.
And it's like
some of those cars have damaged the reputation of some of those brands in the US. And I'm like, fuck, I never should have let those. I never should have let those people. Yeah, cool, it was a sale, but like, never should have let those speakers go into that person's hands, because you know, they're bringing it to 6 different people to tune it. The install's kind of, and like this person doesn't do a good job of tuning, and then that person tries to fix that tune and doesn't do a good job, and then this person tunes it, and this person messes with the install, and that person, and it's like a hodgepodge. Next thing you know, I get messages from people, yo, that guy's car sounds like shit.
Yeah, it's not
Those
good.
speakers suck. And I'm like, no, I'm like, you're smart enough to know this. You're not listening to speakers in a car. You're not listening to amplifiers in a car. You're not listening to processors or sound deadener or subs or cables. You're listening to a sound system.
To the whole
You're listening
of everything
at once. You cannot separate what is or isn't contributing to X part of the sound. It's just not possible. And if anyone ever tells you, oh yeah, I heard this car with these amplifiers, and yeah, let me tell you, those amplifiers sound great. That's a person you can totally fucking ignore from there on out.
It's
totally like 100% ignore them. They are delusional and ridiculous. When you listen to someone's car that you have no real part in and no experience with, like, oh, like, you know, you can experience it with your own car where you listen to the system for 6 months and then you change the amplifiers and you listen to it for another 6 months and then you adjust, you know, you mess with the install. Oh, like, you know what your car is doing and making one change, like, you know what's happening. But when you just get into someone's car and you listen, oh, like he has these speakers. Oh, these speakers sound really good. Or, oh, these speakers sound really bad. That's not the speakers. That's the system. It might be the speakers.
Yeah.
It's probably not, though.
Most likely not. And then
it's some of everything. It's a combination.
And on top of that, hold up, I kind of lost my train of thought. I'm getting old here, dude. What was I going to talk about? It was actually really important. I was like, he brings a good point. System, culmination. Fuck it. I'll remember later on.
You know what? Why don't you do this? Let's take a break for a second. I got to piss really bad.
Yeah. All right. Let me see if I can pause this.
You ramble. I'm going to mute my microphone. I'm going to grab water.
I'm going to pause it because I got pee too.
All right. Again, I just got to check something from Matt really quick.
No, that's fine. Do you think?
Yeah. If you remember what you were thinking of, by all means, just click play and start speaking.
Yeah. So what I was going to mention is when people are getting demos from a vehicle, right? Mm-hmm. Like you mentioned, it's a culmination of everything. But on top of that, most people, and I can say this with fairly good accuracy, don't actually have a good reference on what songs are supposed to sound like. And the one thing I hate when people mention, especially in the competition world, is we're trying to tune for live music. No, the fuck we're not. We're trying to tune for the recording. And whatever the mixer or master decided to do with, let's say, a trumpet, that trumpet could be muted. It could have reverb in it. It could be more attenuated. It could a million things. You don't know what that trumpet. So saying, oh, I want a trumpet to sound like a trumpet, that's going to vary from song to song. I have 3 different songs with a different drum kit. I can make one is super dry and accurate. One is super huge, like a concert style.
Yep. Yeah, people that say, "Oh, live music is a reference," again, you can ignore those people. It doesn't make any sense. What you should be tuning for is reproduction of the input signal, and this is why sound quality is pretty hard.
Yeah,
you know, it is. So I actually got into this. I got into this not argument, but like discussion with someone the other day online, and I said, you know. Some people say this all the time, and this really bothers me. It's kind of similar to what you just said. Sound quality is subjective. No, the fuck it's not.
It's not.
Sound quality can be looked at like a dartboard, and there is a bullseye to it.
Yes.
Sound quality, by definition, by what we're really going for here, is accurate reproduction of the input signal. How accurately are you to reproducing that input signal acoustically? Right? That's what we're after here. Preference is subjective.
Yes.
Accuracy is not. And then this person started arguing accuracy is also subjective. Okay.
No,
it's
no, it is not.
Linearity, flat, low distortion.
Funny enough, the one thing I'll always tell people is like, you might never have had a reference in your life. No clue. But most people, the second they hear what correct is, they know it.
You know what's really funny? I would consider myself a good tuner.
Yeah.
I would consider myself probably one of the best tuners, period. But looking back, let's say 3 years ago, I would still consider myself one of the best tuners. I've gotten a little bit better in that time, but only a very little bit. I think starting like 4 years ago, 5 years ago is when I started getting really good at tuning. And guess what? I never had a reference until a year ago.
Yeah.
I never had a home setup until a year ago. I never had good headphones. I still don't. I mean, I have these are gaming headphones. These sound like shit. They're more so meant for spatial awareness when playing video games.
Yeah.
They do not sound as good as the focals you have in your head from a tonality perspective, I guarantee you. But I've never had a reference. But guess what? You don't really, it's nice to have, and it definitely helps. But a reference, I think, is only good for determining how far away you really are from what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
That's really what it's good for. It's not going to help you so much with tuning. It's not really going to help you so much with like understanding how to achieve that end result. It just shows you what's possible.
Or what's still missing. It doesn't
or
give
what you like. Or what you like.
Yeah. Like it's not going to tell you like, oh, you're missing 5K. You know, it's not going to do that.
Because you measure a home system and a car system.
Oh, they're completely different.
They could sound the same, but they'll measure different. Or they can measure the same but sound completely different.
Yeah. One thing that personally I say to people is I think most people should have a reference. And I tell them, don't even do a home. Because now that I'm almost done with my listening room, holy shit, there's a lot to a room. There's so much to a room, and now I'm working on putting my panels up, and it's like now I'm really starting to understand what these Rebels could do. And beforehand, I had in my living room, they were good, but nowhere near what they're doing now. Exact same speakers. And I tell people, I'm like, if you tell me you got a pair of, I don't fucking know what, Martin Logans. 1, they're not that great of a speaker. 2, and you're like, I put them in an
open computer speakers right in front of me.
Not that good. And you're like, you put them in an open room like this with no panels. Guess what? Not that great.
Yeah.
So your reference is still going to be off. So I tell people, get a good pair of headphones. You don't have to spend these. These, honestly, for what they are, they're not that expensive. I've tested a lot of the folks.
$600, right?
No, these are $1,800, $1,600.
Oh, which ones are those?
The clear MG Pros.
Oh, okay. So the Utopias, how much are the Utopias?
They're $5K.
I heard those before. I thought they were terrible.
Yeah, not that great.
I don't know why.
Yeah,
they just sounded really, I don't know. I've never really heard a good pair of headphones where I'm like, oh, this would be nice to use as a reference. Yeah. I have the headphones that Ayaska used to use as their reference, the German Maestros. They sound like shit. What? They're the most uncomfortable, number one. Number two, they sound horrible. I'm like, how is anyone supposed to get a reference from this?
Dude. Yeah. But at least for me, these headphones, and dude, I've tested so many out. These are the only ones that I actually found like these sound good. And they're not crazy expensive. In terms of sound quality, they're not crazy expensive. Most people are idiotic. Sorry, guys, I'm going to say it, and have DAPs in their car anyway. So there you go. Perfect thing to use for headphones. And then just plug in these good pair of headphones. They have reviews on them. They're fairly linear. They follow the Harman's curve really well. And if you want a little bit more bottom end, you can just EQ the bottom end a little bit. But it's a quick little tonality. You don't have to have a room. You don't do anything, and they can travel with you.
Yeah.
And that's what I use. But it gives you an understanding because most people don't even understand what things are supposed to sound like. They say things like, I remember my dad had this set up back when I was, 15. I'm like, dude, you're 50 now. Like, I barely remember what the hell I heard yesterday. You think
my first good car audio system was the best sounding car I've ever heard in my brain.
Yep.
But my logical side, that thing sounded like shit.
I'll tell you what, the most bass I've ever had in my heart is one P1 Rockford Fosgate in my very first car with a MTX Thunder amp, maybe put out 250 watts. Yeah. I know for a fact there wasn't a lot of bass, but in my head, in my heart, when I heard that, I was like, this is crazy.
And that's what all these people are doing.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, in reality, no, not even close.
No. Rose-colored glasses are very strong.
It is. So sometimes depending on like the clientele, I might bring these headphones with me. I don't like traveling with them because they're bulky and like this is the case for them. It's not thin.
Bring them in a backpack. Yeah.
Yeah, but I already have my entire tuning gear I gotta bring with me too. So it's just
Get a bigger backpack.
Yeah, shut the hell up. But honestly, I love having these and I love bringing to people. And plus, these are open back. A lot of the Focal ones are closed back and they don't sound good.
Oh, those are so the ones I heard, the Utopias are open backed. And I was like, I wonder if this is just what open backed headphones sound like, because I don't like this.
I don't like the Utopias. I heard them, and you will, if you go on the internet, like do a quick search, most people actually prefer these. So there's a regular clear MGs, and these are clear MG Pros. This is meant for people who master. So they put even more kind of like attention to frequency response. But,
yeah. So I like the Utopia car stuff. The headphones I heard, and I was like, what the hell? This is supposed to be a $5,000 headphone setup?
I really like the TBM tweeter. Too many people give that tweeter so much fucking hate for no reason. Talking about it's bright. I'm like, no, it is not. It's a phenomenal tweeter.
It's sensitive. It's not bright.
Yes.
If you look at the sensitivity over the mid-range, it's 10 dB higher in sensitivity than the mid-range. So of course you got to tune it.
You got to tune it.
You got to tune. But yeah, I mean, what else can we talk about as far as tuning goes? Or maybe competition stuff. I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know, dude.
Oh, in chat. I still got some time here. I'm talking to my girlfriend to see like what time everything's going on.
Yeah, I gotta leave in about 20 minutes. We got an appointment we have to go to, but we still got 20 minutes. Let's see. All right. I got it. Okay, cool. Gotta love this podcast. I can talk whatever the hell I want. Competition makes
Don't throw me under the bus.
No, competition doesn't make sense to me. All right.
No, it doesn't make sense to me either.
So I'm trying to get it. It's fun. It's cool. Great people, right? And I think everyone's has the right heart. And I'm going to just say that out loud. I think everyone has a good place in their heart for what they're trying to do in terms of organizations. But it does not make sense how we have 4 different orgs all judging sound quality, which is one thing. And on top of that, do you have Money Round, which is another set of judges, once again judging sound quality. And then you can have wildly different results.
Yep.
But we're all still judging sound quality. And then they talk about, I ask her wants more bass. Why? If it's not in the recording and we're trying to aim to a good replication of what the recording was.
Because their tracks don't. I had this conversation with, I'll throw him under the bus. I've had this conversation and argument with Adam plenty of times.
Oh, yeah.
That the input signal is the input signal. We shouldn't be adjusting for tracks because they have low bass. The tracks just have low bass, and that's how they're supposed to be recorded and played back.
That's it.
For preference, sure, but we shouldn't be using tracks with low bass and then saying, Ayahuasca needs more bass because the tracks don't have enough. That's fucking stupid.
Agreed. And
that's fucking stupid.
And then people are like, I have like 5 different tunes. I'm like, dude, I've only ever ran one tune.
I got 6th place, and I'll say this too. I honestly think it should have been much higher than that at SVR this year. And I rolled in. I did some tuning there. Like people said, Adam messaged, or no, someone messaged me, said, I heard you were fucking around with Smart. I was putting my seat back and seeing if I can get something figured out, like sit back with put the judge further back and see if I could do anything better, but it just didn't work out. So I scrapped that.
Yeah.
And I rolled in and ran the tune that I put on my car a year and change ago before HVR. Minor adjustments just to clean some stuff up that I might have heard. Very, very, very minor adjustments, and sat the judge in my driving position.
Yeah.
And I still did pretty damn good. What I don't get about competition, I mean, I get it. I understand why this happens. But what I don't like about it is how the results are so clearly
skewed. Yeah.
No, it's not even skewed. Doesn't even capture. They're fucked. How are some of these cars placing so high?
Oh, dude,
Peter mentioned it. Peter mentioned one of them in a Patreon video of his. And I fully agree. Like, how is this car? How are half of these cars placing as high as they are? It makes no, they have, and I've listened to a lot of them.
Yeah.
They have very, very, very obvious fundamental issues. Not even just small subjective preferences that a judge for a money round might prefer. I'm talking fundamental issues. Center image being wandering or to the side or whatever. Bass pulling to the back. Resonance. You know, super muffled top end where it sounds like this.
Yep.
How the fuck are these cars?
I don't know, dude.
Doing good.
Dude, I question
And then the money round results are totally different than this org. And that org is totally different results than this org. And I understand because the weighting of the scores is different. Well, this car has really good imaging, but doesn't have great tonality, or vice versa. So the organization that weights this a little bit differently, they might do better. Sure. But guess what? In order to have good imaging, you kind of have to have good tonality, at least from left to right.
Yeah. Good balance.
Like everything kind of comes together. You can't have good staging without having good imaging.
Yeah.
You can't have good staging without having like a linear system. Like it doesn't work. Yeah. Everything, and this is why I personally think MASQ is the best organization. They have, even though their score sheet goes a little bit overboard in the descriptors of the tonality like section, like they have too many things that could be interpreted as different subjective things, but their rules clearly state what they are. Yeah. I think they can get away with like a little bit less of those, but they are very clear. Everything correlates with one another. And if your system doesn't have proper this, it's also affecting that as it does in reality. As it does. Yeah. And you have all of these people that, oh, I don't like Mask. I don't like it. I don't like their score sheet. I don't like this. I don't like that. What you really don't like is your results, and that you finally have someone telling you your car fucking sucks.
Yeah, telling you the appropriate thing.
Which is weird also because the worst organization I did in was Mask. Granted, I had a different judge that I've never had in there before. And I think I just told him I think he even got in my car when I don't even know if I sat him in my car, but like, whatever, like they are the most consistent and objective organization.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing I love about Mask. So they have a technical portion, which is really easy to figure out the soundstage portion. And then you go into real music. Yep. And then you kind of get to understand like, what does a technical mean with music, and how if the technical isn't right, the music isn't going to be right. And you can do it vice versa. You can look to the music first and be like, man, something is sounding right. Go to the technical portions and it will show you what's missing. Yeah. And then you can fix that. And it's just a good way to just like check yourself. You're not relying on like, well, I know this song, the triangles left of center, it's back. I'm like,
it's not really enjoying car audio anymore because they use some test tracks, but you know what? So does Emma. Yeah. So whatever. But to circle back on it, to say it again, every single person that I have seen that says, I don't like Mask, whether it's their score sheet or whatever, and I've heard their car, it's funny because every time that situation comes into play, I think to myself, yeah, your car sounds like shit.
Yeah.
Like, of course, you're finally just getting called out. There's finally an objective score sheet that can break down why your car sounds like shit.
Yeah. And people don't like that, dude. I mean, there is so much ego in the competition realm. Like if at any point you've been doing well and someone tells you you're doing bad, then it's like, oh, that person just hates me. I'm like, dude, I promise you that person probably gives zero fucks about you. And not in like a mean way. They're just like, they're not doing it to be spiteful.
No,
they're just doing their job and getting paid, frankly, shit for it. And then
when I was at Aggie Land last year, not this past Aggie Land, but the year before, there were so many people there upset with MASQ. It's where I watched people like visibly upset, and I'm in my head like, and I see the results. I see how they panned out. Like I made some assumptions, but I didn't say anything yet or think anything definitive yet. And then I saw the actual results, like compared to everything else. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, they're just upset because they're finally getting called out that their car fucking sucks.
Dude, so many cars don't sound good. And people always ask me, like, what's the best sounding car you heard? I'm like, dude, that's such a hard question for me to answer. I'm like mine. But like, I don't know. Like, most cars don't impress me anymore. They just don't.
My car doesn't even impress me anymore.
Yeah, I'm just like, great.
I had a customer call me we were chatting. You know, he's like a customer turned friend. You know, we were chatting the other day. And you know, he was one of my first customers at Apicella Auto Sound when I got the shop for the first time. And I did a very, very basic system, for him. I had to like convince him to do a processor, like really sell him out. Like, I promise you it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
The whole system, parts and labor included. I don't even want to say the price. It was so cheap. But long story short, that eventually spiraled out of control over time, where he has utopias in his car and a custom 3-way and nice amps and a good sub and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And we were talking. He's like, yeah, I don't even think my car sounds that good anymore. And I'm like, whoa. I was like, well, come by for 2. He's like, no, it's not even that. It's like nothing's really changed. It's like, I'm just used to it.
Yeah.
Like,
you do get used to it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So many people, when I finally sold my monster, like, how could you have sold that thing? Like, I was like, it was just a car to me at that point in time. Like, it wasn't nothing special.
Yeah.
Like,
the only reason I probably won't sell the Volvo is because it's fully paid off. The car itself isn't worth that much.
Yeah.
And I put so much work into the system. If someone was willing to pay me for what the system is, it's like, then sure. But like, even if I get a new car, I do want to get a new car.
Yeah.
But right now I'm doing so much between the new website, the new warehouse, the new subwoofers. I'm bleeding money right now. So I can't really afford to get the car that I want. I want to get an Audi RS6. I've always wanted one, and it's an amazing platform for a sound system.
Yeah,
and it's a sick daily driver.
It's a wagon, bro.
Yeah.
God.
And I just, if I got one, even though it's a daily driver, I would still probably keep my Volvo.
Yeah.
Just because, like, what am I going to, I'm going to sell my Volvo for fucking
pennies.
Yeah. Pennies on it. It's like, I might as well just keep it.
Yeah. I sold my Mazda because I didn't like the car. I love the outside, but the interior, I didn't care for it. Literally, it was like 3 months after I got it, I told Brie, I was like, I hate this car. But I was like, I paid for it cash, and I was like, I own it. Fuck it. I'm just gonna keep it. I did a system, but then after, I'm just like, yeah, I'm just done. And then Tesla came out with the new Model Y, and I was like, test drove it. I loved it. Give me a killer deal. Got 26 grand from my Mazda, and I was like, stripped the entire system. I had 50,000 miles on it. I was like, yeah, duh. Train this thing in. I don't care for it.
Yeah.
And now I have my Tesla. That's the only reason. Now that Tesla I'll probably never sell. I like it a lot
because of what you're doing with. Well, you're gonna have to. That battery's gonna go bad eventually.
It's fine. That's what I have warranty for.
No, it'll go bad after that.
Yeah.
No, like I'm saying, like just batteries in general. Like,
it's
gonna have to get replaced, and it's gonna be a $15,000 job or something.
Then
like
just do what Mitchell did. Just turn into a freaking. Just push it. That's all I gotta do.
Why did you? All right, let me interview you for a second. Why did you do this system that you're doing in the Tesla?
Why did I do it in terms of what?
Why did you choose what you're choosing?
Several reasons.
Little bit of self-promotion here.
Yeah. One, Nick hit me up. He was like, "Hey, dude, you want to run this?" I was like, "Yeah." But in reality,
you really do it?
Yeah, in reality, it was just. I heard honestly, it was Luke's truck. After I tuned Luke's truck, and I was just like, because like the big thing with Acutons that I have heard until I started just like literally listening to myself was like, oh, like yeah, they're great, but you can't turn them up. And I'm like, what's the point of spending all this money? And then I did Luke's truck, and it was hitting fucking I don't know what dB, and it was like, yep. What else you got?
As loud as your Mazda.
Yeah, literally as loud as my Mazda. And I'm like, this thing's phenomenal, and it did it with like it was the I know why. So lack of distortion. And that equates for most people is effortlessness. They're hand in hand. It's the same thing. You're just hearing the lack of distortion in the speaker. And I'm just like, this thing's crazy. And then Luke's, when I first tuned it, I was a lot more like reserved. I crossed the mid-range at like 260, the tweets at like 3K. And I was like, and then I went back up. He's like, Miguel, I just want you to send it. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, just do what you want to do. If you break it, it's fine.
Like, I'll send you a new one.
Yeah. So I did.
Acuton, by the way, for anyone listening, Acuton is a new policy. Any broken cones, replaced, no questions asked.
Heck yeah.
No cost to you.
Yeah.
So even if you're worried about that now, it's like, You break a cone, you tell me, I next area a new one, you send that one back, I get it fixed. It goes in as like one of the replacement ones. They refurb it fully.
That's cool.
Nope,
Another
no
cool thing
price.
about the Acuton that I didn't realize until I got mine was if you look at the back of it, there's writing on it. So you know if you got a real one or not, if there's writing in the
there's no fake ones.
Oh, there's not? Okay.
No.
Hey, dude, you fucking never know on eBay.
No, because with these ceramic speakers, like you see ceramic speakers in other cones or other speakers, but it's not actually a ceramic cone. It's a ceramic like coating on a foam or paper or whatever cone. These are literally ceramic through and through.
Wow. Yeah, it's super cool.
No one's doing that.
No. Well, if people who haven't held these things are beefy. Like the internet doesn't.
They're not huge.
No. I'm talking about just like they have weight to them. A lot of weight.
Especially that's the underhung motors.
Yeah, the tweeter was the thing I was most impressed with in terms of just weight. Because like you look at it, it's like, oh, that won't be that big. And then you pick it up, like this thing weighs like at least a pound. At least it feels like it. Just like this thing is so heavy for this.
It's just a giant slug of Neo with a
pretty much
with a little ceramic diaphragm and a little baby voice coil.
Yeah. But like after hearing Luke's truck and the AE18 and what it was doing, I'm like, I fucking love this thing. I need to have it. Like it's one of those things, at least for me, like once I hear something, I can't unhear it.
Yeah.
So I knew I couldn't go backwards. I was like, all right, Nick, like send me some. So we got those. And then you were like, we got to pair with MPs. I was like, all right. So then I was like, how many can we fit? And I asked Russ and he was like,
a lot.
It doesn't matter. He was like, I'll make anything fit. I was like, all right, let's do all 7 series. And then I was like, all right, I need something powerful enough to like push my AE18 with the same finesse that the MPs are going to do with the Acutons. Because in Luke's truck, which I'm probably going to suffer as well, but if your prototype comes in on time, we're going to throw that in instead. The C10 is Luke's limiting factor. You can hear it. Everything else is like tight, accurate.
Oh, no, we have the data to show that.
Yeah. And the second you hear the C10, it's mainly at higher volumes. It's doing its own thing. And it doesn't stop. The transients aren't exact. Me and Nick will pick that up in a heartbeat. Well, most people, I don't know. But at least I know Nick and I are on the same page. So I was like, what amp, not even sub amp, what amp can keep up? And I was like, I don't want to fit 4 to 6 more MPs to do a C10 around. I was like, what's out there? And long story short, MX4 Pro, that thing's a monster. I mean, 500 watt, or what is it, 250 times 4?
Times 4 at 4 ohm.
My ass. Like
actually, no, I think they're 300. I think it's 300.
That thing is putting out so much power. It is not even funny.
Let's see. That does 300 by 4 at 4 ohms.
That thing is a powerhouse. That is the...
What the hell? Their specs are wrong. The specs say... Well, that was the Google thing. Let me see if it actually... Oh, yeah. Google's little summary is wrong. It's just 300 watts, no matter the ohm load. Bridge to 600 by 2, no matter the ohm load. Regulated power supply, I guess. But on Google, the little summary says 300 watts by 4 at 4 ohms, 4 by 240 at 2 ohms. That makes no fucking sense. Yeah, and 2 by 480 at when bridged. It's like, no. That's just Google's little AI summary.
Yeah. We call that, I call it a pizza box because it's the size of a medium-sized pizza, and it is about 3.5 inches thick, which doesn't seem like a lot until you have it in person. And it's like, this thing is huge. And at idle, it pulls like 20 amps. How do I know? Because I clamped it. But at full tilt and SQ is pulling like maybe 45 and 50. Like, it's not struggling. But dude, the second I hook those up, I'm like, I love this thing. This thing's ridiculous.
The level of control that has over low frequency drivers is insane. And there might be people that watch this and be like, oh, stop it again. All amps are... get your hands on some really good amplifiers, bench test them, instant switch them, and you will see there is a difference. There really is.
There is a difference. And
Matt switched out. You sold Matt Kim the arcs that you had in the Mazda.
Yeah.
He recently swapped them from those to the Micro Precisions. And let me see if I can find it.
Oh, he texted me.
Yeah, I'm looking for the text he sent me. He just said they're good, definite improvement over the arc amp. Immediately noticed.
Yeah.
That was his Matt. You know, that's as long as his description.
I'll tell you what, that for Matt, he might as well have wrong a whole book.
Exactly.
Because Matt doesn't say nothing.
Matt's a one word at most person.
Yes. And that's if he's happy.
If you don't know if he's happy or not. You have no idea.
if he's not, he'll just go, and that's it. He won't say nothing. He'll just do that. I love Matt.
Yeah.
But no, like when I bench tested the ARC series, the exact issues I was having to fix in my car in terms of around 1 to 2K shrillness and boomy low end is exactly what the tower sounded like.
That's weird you say that, because Matt actually said, like, when I asked him after, when I tried to extract more out of him, he said, well, switching to the micro precisions and from the arcs, it's just not as harsh.
Yeah.
The detail's there, but it's not as harsh.
Yes.
That was like the first thing he threw out.
Yeah. And it was and this is when I tested between the Brax MX4 Pro, which was spaciousness and like true layering. And this is when it clicked to me. I was like, no. And I've always known this. I hate it when people are like, oh, dude, you want to know how to get your things out there? Just play with time. No, don't play with time. Time is either correct or not correct. There's no, you don't play.
Well, what they mean by playing with timing is I'm trying to get it correct, but I don't know how to.
So when time is correct, time is correct. Now you can maybe change it a little bit to like delay the tweeters a little bit, like 0.02, and that might help out a little bit, but we're talking about minute.
But that's more so getting things in phase through crossovers, getting everything in time.
Correct. It's not gonna be a difference between things being at your windshield and then at the fucking bumper.
No. That's not going to really happen at all.
I digress. We're not even going to talk about the whole imaging at the bumper thing. We're not even going to do that.
It's not real.
It's not real, guys. It is what it is. But when I tested this in an open room, that's when I noticed the true like potential of layering and spaciousness and depth. And it's all amp related. And yeah, and when I tested between the ARC series and the Moscone Pros and Zapco APs, they all sounded the same. Man, it wasn't until I got to the $7,000 amp I was like, okay, there's a huge difference. And
the $7,000 processor, we're like, oh, there's a difference.
There it is, you know. But once again, when I did hook up that processor to the ARC series amp, was there a difference? Sure. Could it possibly been placebo? Sure, because it was so minute. It wasn't like, wow, there's a difference.
So let me tell you when I first realized the Brax was a huge step up over pretty much anything else. When it first released, my buddy Steve Wigner called me. He's like, I want one. I was like, are you serious, dude? Like $7,000 processor? Like, dude, come on. Yeah. Like, let's be real. It's not going to be any different. Like, what are you doing? And he's like, no, order me one. I was like, okay, I'll order you one. I ordered it. It eventually came in like 6 weeks later. And he doesn't live that far from me. He's like 2.5 hours away. So, you know, we're good, but he's like, you know what? I'll just come over. We'll hang out for the day, you know, whatever. And at the time, Kevin Mullings was working for me. So he came over on a weekday to pick it up. And I was like, all right, I'm going to bring in my home speaker. I have really nice, I don't know what happened to him. I had a nice set of home speakers that Chuck Morris built for Jeff Schneider. And then Jeff Schneider gave them to me in exchange for work that I did for him. They're very flat, very low distortion home speakers that he built himself. He's like a DIY speaker builder guy who does very well with it. And we set those up, set it up. So the Brax in an Ultra, or maybe it was a Pro Mark II. I don't know if an Ultra was out at the time, but whatever it was against, it was at the highest level Helix processor.
Yeah.
It was a work day. So I was working at the same time, and I was like, hey, Kevin, like, I got shit to do. Can you wire this up for me? We have to wire up like the processors, the power supply, switching, amplifier. He's wiring it up. I hear them fire it up. I'm on the phone in the office. I'm getting stuff done. I'm doing emails. And then I hear music, hear a song, and then I hear the same song. It switches pretty quick, like pause play, just like that. And it sounded totally different.
Yeah.
And I was in my office, completely different room. And immediately I was like, that's the Brax.
What did you notice?
Just sounds cleaner. Everything about it's just cleaner.
Yeah.
It's just cleaner. It sounds more real.
Yes.
And this isn't to say that you're wasting your time with a V8 or a DSP Pro or a DSP Ultra or an ARC or a Moscone. It's just, yeah, there are levels to this. And again, like I said, I recommend to 95% of people a V8 Ultimate or a P6 Ultimate.
Yeah.
Because that is, I was even thinking when I get a new car, I probably won't even do anything crazy. I'll probably just do a P6 Ultimate. Now I probably won't. I probably wouldn't be able to live with myself. I'll probably switch it eventually, but like, because I know and I've experienced, and you can't go back, like you said.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was not a small difference either.
No,
it was not small. I was able to tell from a different room, and I wasn't even prepared for like what they were doing. I was doing work.
Yeah.
You know,
and then, but once again, you know, just to reiterate for people who are now watching only the part 3 series, the rest of your chain has to match. If at any point a vehicle, even just, let's just keep it simple, your install isn't right, I don't care what you put in it, it's not gonna make the difference. Your install and deadening has to first be right.
Yes.
And then you can start talking about, let's put in high-end gear. But I hate it when the first thing people say, like, I'm thinking about getting Acutons or Brax or this. I'm like, okay, back up. Let's first talk about what kind of car do you have? And they're like, I don't know, an Acura. And I'm like, all right, where are you planning to put the mid-range at? At the bottom knee floor? I was like, okay, let's just stop, dude. Like,
some of these cars are really bad platforms.
Yes, very bad platforms. And that was, my Mazda was a terrible platform.
The smaller version, the CX-30 is a really bad platform, because I feel, you know, Troy, a customer of mine, he has a CX-30 that he loves to death, but it's like he wants to push it further, but I'm like, dude, like there's no good options.
There's not
in your car. There's just not. Like, doing more in your car is like genuinely like kind of getting to a point where you're not really going to gain much, or you have to do a ton of absurd fabrication
like I did.
And like, but no, his is worse than yours.
No, I'm talking about, dude, like, so him and I had the same mid-range location, or when I had him also.
No, I know, but his dash setup is a little different than the CX-50. The CX-30 is a little bit different than the CX-50. And it's like there's not as much room. It's like there's a design to the dashboard, and you'd have to do something like very crazy in order to do something there. The pillars, same thing. You also have an aggressive gauge cluster. It's like, at this point, I would just take it for what it is and just fucking enjoy it.
That's what I did with the CX-50. I enjoyed it. I pushed as far as I could, but then I got to a limit. I'm like, this is it. Like, no matter what I do, and I went to whoever who saw when Russ uploaded the full build log of it, you'll see the extent that we took.
Oh, he went crazy. Like,
we did not play. I pulled that whole dash. Like, we did not play around. And Nick saw in person, like, all the deadening I did and stuff. It was like, dude, I did not play. And even then, it still wasn't perfect. It couldn't have been. It was a car. Yeah. So when I was looking for the new one, I was like, what can be better?
Yeah.
What can do? And then the Tesla just came out. I'm like, I don't think there's a better platform for car audio than this Model Y right now. The Challengers and Chargers and the 300s, yes, those are great because long dash, you're far back, great. But it's overplayed, and I personally don't like Stellantis products. So I'm not going to buy it. But that's
what you say, Stellantis?
Yeah, that's who.
What car is it?
Dodge.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were still talking about the Mazda for a second.
No.
I was just saying, Mazda's not Stellantis, buddy.
No, far from it. But yeah, like some people, like, guys, if you ever wanted to build a system and you want it to be competitive, we're talking about car audio competition, not daily driving. You can make any car daily driving sound pretty damn good. But for competition, you first got to start with the right platform. If you are shooting yourself in the foot with a wrong platform, good luck. I tell people constantly, a cheap car that kind of works, buy yourself a RAV4 like Kevin Keen's or a Camry. Like, those are fairly inexpensive and they have pretty good mid-range location, tweeter locations, mid-bass in the doors, move them out of there if you can, or just treat the living crap out of it and you're fine. And it's cheap. Cheaper.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah. What else you got, dude? That's about it for me.
I don't know. That's about it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, dude, of course.
This is fun. I know it's been 4 hours.
Dude, it's been a long time.
I like this because every time I do, I did a podcast, I was on that road trip that I started in February and got back in late June. And the first day of my trip, like first day in my RV, I was on a podcast. I did a podcast from a truck stop in middle of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And, we talked, they were like, yeah, we want to do a podcast about like how to sound treat this certain car that our podcast revolves around. It's like a Volkswagen, the electric Volkswagen van, the ID. They do a podcast about that. And I was like, yeah. I was like, heads up, like, I don't know how long you want this to be. Like an hour and a half. I was like, can we make it like an hour and a half? Because like, if you want this to be good, like it's going to get technical because sound deadening is not as simple like as people think. And like, yeah, sure. And they, it was like an hour and a half we spoke. The final uploaded version is 30 minutes. I was like, afterwards, they're like, yeah, like we cut some stuff out just to make sure people are like watching the whole thing. We don't want people to listen to like, if it's too long. I'm like, if it's too long, who cares? Like, there's information. They're going to listen to it or they're not.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, I'm definitely going to break it up in 3 parts because no one's going to watch a 4-hour recording.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Like, I don't edit. Anything unhinged is non-edited. I do that on purpose. Like, whatever is on there is on there. Great. And that's it. Like, and if people don't like it, don't listen to it. Like, that's the end of it. Like, I started WaveForm and this podcast, part of WaveForm, because I got tired of the, like, once again, the marketing bullshit, the politics.
Yep.
No one just wants to be straightforward and be like, dude, this sucks. Everyone's thinking it. Everyone is thinking the exact same thing. Everyone's thinking that competition's fucked right now. Everybody. There's not a single human that doesn't think that. Just no one's willing to say it. And I'm like, once again, I think everyone's has their heart in the right place. But if we can figure out how to make things kind of make more sense, because going to SVR is expensive. Like,
yeah.
I was talking to one of my customers, and he was like, yeah, dude, I spent like almost $3,000 after like driving all the way, food, hotel for him and his wife. They had to hire a dog sitter. And I'm like, that's just for what? To get a plastic trophy? If that. Or to have someone, to have another car that your sound better beats you? What?
Yeah.
It's just like, if we don't somehow figure out how to fix this is already a dying community. It's just going to continue dying. And I mean, me, you, and Luke, Carson, Braden, Troy's older than us. That's about it in terms of like, I mean, yeah, let's involve Troy and Chris Pierce. We're kind of like the new kids on the block.
Sure. Speak for yourself. I'm kidding.
But like, we're the younger crowd in their 30s, like, 20s to 30s. The rest is older people. So once they're gone, who's going to be left? If we don't change this, we won't be able to afford it. So
it's not even that. It's just like, I don't think people really care so much about the money. Some people talk about it, but they're still going to do it. It's just going to get, with the judging the way it is and the lack of consistency and how many different, it's just like people are just, with the organizations, people are like done spending money on 5 different orgs. Yeah. That's got to stop. Yeah. But it really, to me, it comes down to these results are fucking nonsense. Like Peter called it out in the Patreon video that he has with his SVR wrap up. That guy, Adrian, that came in, who's a new guy.
Yeah.
That car sounded great. Yeah. It got like 35th in the money round. It should have been top 15. Yeah. And that's being like generous. Like it should not like generous in a bad way. Like it should be maybe even top 10 is what I'm saying. So
yeah, I don't get it, dude. I don't get it. But at the end of the day, like I am slowly starting to become a judge for Mask. There might be something in the work for finals. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah. No, I heard. Howard asked me to judge finals as well. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not able to make finals this year. I have wedding events for a good friend of mine that I'm in the wedding party of.
Yeah.
So I can't do it. So yeah.
Yeah. I would love to. Yeah. I think I am judging finals. I think it is. I don't know yet. So I don't want
3X.
Yeah, the 3X. But it's like I'm trying to dip my toes into it. I'm still trying to understand how to put a number to what I hear. I know what I'm listening for, I just don't understand fully the number. But I have months. Me and Robert have already talked, and we're going to coach it.
I mean, at the end of the day, the number doesn't matter against the other person's number as long as the numbers shift consistently.
Yeah.
No,
for sure. But yeah, I mean, judging's fun. It's not bad. But at the end of the day,
I don't think so.
I don't mind it. I like it because I get a better understanding of like how to tune for a competition. Because
I don't know.
I mean, right now competition isn't changing. So either we play the game or you get left behind. That's kind of the way it is.
Yeah, sure. For me, after 6 cars, I'm like, ugh. Especially when they're not good.
Yeah.
The HVR towards the end, I was just like, oh my God, get me out of here. Not plus because the cars were good or bad. It was just because it was like, you sit there and you listen and you analyze and it's like, oh my God, this is like a lot.
Yeah.
It's just a lot. So like, yeah, the judges, it's not an easy, I'm not going to say job because it's not a job. It's a, this isn't a job, but it's a thing we're doing and we're trying to do it very diligently and very well and very fairly. We're trying to do it to a high level.
Yeah.
And it's just, it is difficult. It is. It really is.
It is.
And that's why I think judging is all over the place, is because it's really difficult. And most of these judges, frankly, are not as good at picking out stuff as they think they are.
Yeah.
And they definitely don't have the technical background on how to explain or understand even what it is. And it's like, oh, you know, some of them talk about, oh yeah, like if you speak to the recording engineer, it should sound like this. Like, okay, but do you understand the phase relationship between sub and mid bass? Like, no, then okay. Well, we're doing car, like that stuff is way more important. But yeah, sure, like the details of how stuff is recorded is important. But like, if you're telling me you're a judge and you say, oh, the sub is pulling to the back, and I ask you, okay, like, well, why? And you can't tell me why.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah,
what are we doing here?
Information, especially when people are paying for your feedback. You're paying for your feedback, and what?
Oh yeah, you get no feedback.
You get nothing. And then you look at the paper that might have some feedback, and it scribbles, so you don't even understand what's happening. And then by the time everything's done, all the judges are beat. They're probably already ran away. So then you have to like bother them on Messenger, and then it's
and they don't even remember.
Yeah.
And like, if they say they remember, they don't remember.
Yeah. So, and once again,
listen to 30 cars over the course of 2 days,
100%.
3 weeks ago. They don't fucking remember.
They don't remember. And this is all to say, judging is hard. So as a competitor, give the judges a break. But as a judge, like, at least for me, I'm speaking for myself. Like, if I'm going to judge finals, that's why me getting my listening room is so important to me. I want to know exactly how these songs for Mask are supposed to sound like. Exactly. And I'm going to do my best. I'm not saying I'm going to be the best judge ever, the worst judge. I'm going to do my best. HVR was my first time ever judging, and I kept on asking for feedback from you, from Mick. I'm like, hi, guys, how am I doing?
I think we did good.
Yeah, I think we did pretty good. It was. And the people...
Me, you, and Mick were very consistent.
Yeah, we were all... And like you said, what car we thought sounded good, we all were like, yep. What car didn't sound good, we're like, yeah. And all for the same thing. So, yeah. All right, big dog.
Right. Are we going to hit 4 hours? We're 5 seconds away from a 4-hour-long podcast, and then I am going to be a little late. Juliet might be a little mad, but that's okay.
Well, I'm going to end this recording. Stay on though until it saves.
All right. Thanks everyone for watching. Yep. Really appreciate it. If you made it this far, God bless you. We love you.
Yep. If you guys ever need any good sound editing products, please, or just subs. Anything, or subs, or speakers,
or RCA cable, or amplifiers, or processors, or anything, just
100%. If you need an in-person tune, hit me up. I'm your guy.
If you need an in-person tune in New York, I'm here.
No, don't go to New York.
I'm not traveling though. Fuck that.
All right, y'all. Bye.